Brett Allen here, chatting Quantum Leap with a very special guest. I mean, we're not talking just the current telling new boot of the series, but an OG cast member as well. The voice of Ziggy originally. Ziggy says, relax, just take a break and breathe. But also, Deborah Pratt, our guest, has just recently directed a current episode, Family Style, which premiered a couple days ago. And she also serves as executive producer on the show as well. Deborah, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, Brett.
Well, this is very cool. I mean, I watched the show growing up. We had appointments every week before streaming DVRs where we actually got together as a family and Sunday nights, I think, and watched this. And this new version is just equally as fantastic. My first question is, how does it feel to not only have directed and produced this new series, but just to be back in this world?
When it first started, it was kind of deja vu, especially shooting on the back lot, because we shot near places that we shot some of the older episodes. And but it's a journey that I have been trying to make happen since the show went off the air so abruptly 28 years ago.
Yeah, it's almost to the day. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been beating on the door of Universal saying, what are you doing? This is going to be your biggest franchise. And years ago, I remember calling a meeting of all the heads of every department. And I said, here's the animated series. Here's the, CDs at the time for the music from the show. Here's the ride at Universal Studios. Video games were just coming out. I was pitching a video game. Here's the motion picture. And everybody went, what are you talking about? And now all these years later, I say, Quantum Leap, like Star Trek, which has 9 spin-offs and 9 motion pictures, we could do that. And I think the studio is waking up to it. I think Steve and Brian did a great job reinventing it and going into what's happening in the present day, and that gorgeous headquarters that Mei Ling Ching designed. And then Martin, Giro, and Dean have really guided the writer's room into capturing the new stories, but holding on to the heart, to the hope, to the history, to the fun things and to the emotional core of the show. And part of my being there was that was important to me.
Yes. And we've had other ancillary cast members on, over the last several months. And so as this show has been out, and they all say the same thing, that this show holds a very special place in television history because the topics and the things that you covered in the original series were so relevant and almost punching up to things that people were talking about around the dinner table. The episode that stands out to me the most is Sam jumping into the world of Lee Harvey Oswald. I remember that episode in particular being just absolutely wild. But this is fantastic. This cast is just top notch, and you all have done a fantastic job. That's a very cool story to hear the way that you championed for this to happen. So now that it's out and people are watching, and this most current episode, how does that feel to be directing now and to really just be at the helm of the ship and tell stories that are so relevant to today, as you mentioned just now?
Well, I think the beauty of time travel is that you create a safe space, because it's not today. So that tension that's stopping us from communicating with each other is not there, because you can suspend belief and suddenly you're, 20 years ago or 40 years ago, and you can talk about racism and sexism and political stances. And what we did on the original show, and the opportunities come in this as well, is to say, this happened. You decide how you feel about it.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you how to feel about it. You decide how you feel about it. And I think it's easier for people to have the conversations that you're talking about, Brett, because they are not threatened by the media that's existing today. They're just sitting there watching with their family. And if a child turns around and says, well, you know, which is what happened on the episode that I wrote, where he leapt into a black man for the first time, why wouldn't they want him to sit down at dinner? Well, there's a teachable moment where you get to say, well, because at the time, Black people weren't allowed in certain places. And then kid goes, why? Well, now you're talking about a piece of history that really isn't taught in schools.
Yeah.
And I think my episode captured that with the landlord, who she has a line after the fire where she says, or Ben says to her, you burn this place down. And she said, I would never do that. And who would believe you over me, basically? And you look at that kind of mentality that is still out there, that immigrants are still facing. So the opportunity to tell a story about immigration meant a lot to me. About food and family meant a huge amount to me, because everybody's got a family. Everybody loves their favorite food. Cooking shows are like through the roof. That was the most fun. I got to watch The Bear 3 times, you know, again and again, and be inspired by all the great shots and Chef. I watched all my favorite cooking movies and shows, and every time there was an opportunity, we were setting shots or something, I say, break off C camera, go get me the flames being lit, go get me a pot boiling and being stirred. And I had a great time. And I got to work with people that I love who are actors on this show. Raymond and Nanrissa and Ernie, Caitlin, everybody really, and Mason, oh my God, the amazing Mason, brings so much to the storytelling. And the other side of it is they get to bring so much of themselves.
Yeah. So my question would be, with this day and age where we do have these new boots, as I like to call them, and different tellings of things from the original cast that still exists, including yourself. Obviously, we know what you think, but what have others said? Has there been any input? Has there been interest from them, maybe perhaps coming in and popping in on an episode? I don't know what you can and can't say. But I'm just very curious, because I mean, there's already so much nostalgia riddled out through these episodes. I mean, I think everyone at some point, some way deals with things that go, man, the show is timeless, really.
Thank you. I agree with you 100%. You know, I have to leave that, as Ziggy says, to God or fate or time or whatever, to see how it unfolds. I mean, I'm at a gaming convention right now, and I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, where's the game? Where's the game? Where's the game? Yeah. And I said, I've had this game in my pocket since 1994.
It's been a minute. Yeah, for sure.
So maybe now is the time to create it, because the technology is certainly here to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, right now I'm here for my Vision Quest books, and a graphic novel that I'm doing called Warrior One. And I want to do a game of Warrior One, which is based in the world of the Vision Quest. And I think that, interestingly enough, I think there should be a quantum movie or several quantum movies.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to Stephen and who am I talking? Oh, Martin and Dean and Brian for bringing it back. And then I'm grateful for them saying to me, you're a woman of color, you're bringing 2 unique perspectives back to the show, and they listen. And I said, I just want the heart of this show and the hope that the other show really established to come back.
Yes, all of that and then some. And as you're talking here, as we wrap, there was a show that was on for a while called Timeless, and interviewing cast from that, they always referenced Quantum Leap, the original series, as a point of reference. So there you go. You've definitely earned your place in pop culture icon history. Replication is the highest form, of flattery, I think. Congratulations, Deborah. It was a pleasure chatting with you. This is a great show. This episode was fantastic. I appreciate your time. Thank you for hanging out today. It was a fan moment, but also a moment of just, this is really cool. And I hope this show continues on for multiple seasons.
Oh, thank
for
you,
sure.
Brett.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brett. I look forward to speaking to you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. And congratulations on the books too. And hopefully game. Don't want to forget about that.
Mirrors, thenovel.com, thevisionquest.com. Come check us out.